Rain
I
hammers the
told you
tall
that it was far
windows
too
of the
late to
Seoul
stop
estate.
it.
Each drop a small drumbeat against the glass. Inside, the kitchen still smells of garlic and seared beef. Sofia Williams wipes her hands on a dish towel, folds it once, twice, and sets it down like she's closing a book. She doesn't look up. I have a date tonight. The words land in the room like a drop glass, because that's exactly what happens next.
Put him under surveillance.
Tae-jun's
Do it
glass
now.
slips from his fingers, shatters against the marble floor, and nobody moves to clean it up. Not the guard by the door. Not the second guard by the window. They just stare at the shards scattering near his shoes, then at him, because in 4 years of working for Kang Tae-jun, none of them has ever seen his hand shake. Tae-jun doesn't look at the glass. He looks at her. With who? It isn't a question. It's an order dressed up as one. Sofia finally lifts her eyes to his. There's no fear in them. There never is. And that's what unsettles him most. I don't think that's any of your business. She turns. Her heels click once, twice, against the marble, unhurried, like she has all the time in the world and he has none. Tae-jun doesn't chase her. He can't. Not with 2 guards watching. Not with the weight of his own name pressing down on his spine. But something in his chest has already started running after her, and he hates it. Behind him, the shattered glass catches the light from the chandelier, and nobody in that kitchen understands what they just watched. They think it was jealousy. They have no idea it was the first crack in an empire. Before we go any further, welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, drop your city in the comments below. Let us know where in the world you're watching from tonight. And if you want to see exactly how far this jealousy is about to take a man who's never lost control of anything in his life, hit that subscribe button right now. Because this story is only getting started. The rain doesn't stop. It hasn't stopped in 3 days. And the guards at the gate have started joking that Seoul itself is holding its breath, waiting to see what Kang Tae-jun does next. He does nothing. He stands in the kitchen doorway long after Sofia's footsteps fade up the east staircase, staring at the wet shard of glass still glinting on the floor. Jin-woo, his second-in-command, finally crouches to pick up the pieces, glancing up at his boss like a man checking if a bomb is still ticking. Boss, get someone to clean this. Jin-woo doesn't move right away. He's known Tae-jun since they were 19, since the alleys behind Yuljiro before either of them wore a suit that cost more than a car. He's seen Tae-jun order executions without blinking. He has never seen him drop a glass. You want me to look into it? Jin-woo asks carefully. The date. Tae-jun's jaw tightens. No, he says it too fast. Jin-woo hears the lie sitting right on top of it. Upstairs, Sofia closes her bedroom door and leans her back against it, exhaling slowly, like she's been holding that breath since the kitchen. Her hands are steady. They're always steady. She's trained them to be. The same way she's trained her face to give nothing away. The same way she memorized which floorboards creak in this hallway during her first week here. She peels off her apron and hangs it on the hook behind the door. The same hook, the same spot, every single day for the past 8 months. Order, routine, control. 3 things she clings to like a rope over open water. She sits at the edge of her bed and pulls a slim paperback from beneath the mattress. Not a novel. A legal textbook, dog-eared, spine cracked from rereading. International financial crimes and asset recovery. She reads 2 pages before closing her eyes. Nobody in this house knows she graduated top of her class in forensic accounting. Nobody knows she once testified in a courtroom in Atlanta with U.S. Marshals standing at every exit. To them, she's just the quiet maid who remembers birthdays and feeds the strays that slip through the garden fence at night. The 3-legged tabby she calls Bishop, the skittish orange one with the torn A. They think she's strange, overqualified for this life and too guarded to explain why. Only one person in this house has ever looked at her like there's a locked door behind her eyes worth opening, and is currently standing 3 floors below, staring at a wine stain on his marble floor like it personally insulted him. Tae-jun doesn't sleep that night. He sits in his office with the lights off, the city glittering through rain-streaked windows, a glass of something he hasn't touched sweating on the desk beside him. His phone sits face up, silent. He tells himself he doesn't care who she's meeting. He tells himself the same thing at 1 a.m., at 2 a.m., at 3, and each time it convinces him a little less. Therefore, at 3:14 a.m., he picks up the phone and calls Jin-woo anyway. Pull the footage, he says, voice flat, final. Every camera on the East Road. I want to know what car picks her up tomorrow. I thought you said. I changed my mind. Jinwoo doesn't argue. He's learned that when Tae-jun's voice drops that low, arguing just makes the night longer. By morning, the mansion is already whispering. In the laundry room, two of the housemates trade theories over a basket of pressed linens. She's never once mentioned a man, one murmurs. Not in 8 months. Maybe that's the point, the other says. You ever notice how she disappears sometimes? Whole afternoons. Gone. Boss never asks where. He's asking now. They both go quiet when Sofia walks past the doorway, carrying a tray of tea toward the study. Her expression is unreadable as ever, but there's the faintest upward twitch at the corner of her mouth. Small, private, gone in an instant. She knows they're talking about her. She's counted on it, actually. Gossip is a wonderful thing to hide behind. Tae-jun corners her in the hallway outside the study, arms crossed, doorway blocked like he owns every square inch of it. Because he does. You're being followed, he says. No greeting. No pretense. Sofia doesn't flinch, doesn't even slow her stride toward the console table, where she sets the tray down with a soft clink of porcelain. By who? You. By anyone with sense. A woman who works for me disappearing for a night, unaccounted for. I'm not disappearing, she says, turning to face him fully now, arms folding to mirror his. I'm going on a date. People do that. Even people who work for terrifying men in very expensive suits. His eyes narrow. What man? None of your business. Everything in this house is my business. Then fire me. She says it evenly, almost bored, like she's dared him 100 times before and won every time. Otherwise, I'll see you at dinner. She picks the tray back up, empty now, just for show, just to give her hand something to do, and walks past him. Close enough that he catches the faint scent of jasmine soap, close enough that his whole body goes rigid trying not to react. He doesn't stop her. Therefore, he does the only thing a man like him knows how to do when he can't control something. He starts pulling every string he has. By that afternoon, Jinwoo has 3 men on the traffic cameras, 2 more cross-referencing every luxury hotel reservation in Gangnam under a woman's name, and a 4th quietly hacking into telecom records that absolutely should not be that easy to access. Nothing. No boyfriend. No dinner reservation. No hotel check-in. No trace of a man who has any business taking Sofia Williams anyway tonight. Which, for Tae-jun, is so much worse than finding one. Because if there's no man on paper, no trail, no fingerprint anywhere in the system, then whoever she's meeting doesn't want to be found. And the only people Tae-jun knows who leave that clean a trail are people just like him. 7 o'clock arrives. And the mansion goes quiet in that particular way it only does when everyone is pretending not to watch the same thing. Sofia comes down the east staircase in a deep emerald dress, fitted at the waist, hem brushing just above her ankles, hair pinned back from her face in a way that makes her look like someone entirely different from the woman who scrubs pans and reads legal textbooks by candlelight. The 2 housemaids from the laundry room freeze mid-conversation. Even the cook, wiping down the counter, stops and stays a beat too long. Nobody has ever seen her dressed like this. Not once. Not in 8 months. She catches their stares, offers nothing but a small, polite nod, and keeps walking toward the front door, heels clicking against marble in that same unhurried rhythm as the night before. Tae-jun is in the study when she passes the open door. He doesn't mean to look up. He does anyway. His hand tightens around the pen he's holding hard enough that the plastic casing creaks. She doesn't stop, doesn't glance in. Just walks straight past the doorway and out into the rain-slicked driveway, where a plain black sedan, not a limousine, not anything that screams money, is already waiting. Therefore, the second the front door clicks shut behind her, Tae-jun is on his feet. Boss, Jinwoo starts. Get the car. You said you weren't going to. I changed my mind twice in 2 days, Tae-jun snaps, already shrugging into his coat. Don't make it a 3rd time you have to remind me of. The city blurs past the windows in sheets of neon and rain. Tae-jun sits low in the back seat of an unmarked car 3 lengths behind Sofia's sedan, jaw tight, eyes locked on the taillights ahead like they might vanish if he blinks. She's heading toward Itaewon, Jinwoo says, glancing at the tracker app on his phone. There's a restaurant up here. Private rooms. Expensive. I know the place. You've eaten there. I've laundered money through it. Jinwoo doesn't ask anything else after that. The sedan pulls up outside a narrow building tucked between a wine bar and a shuttered bookstore, the kind of place with no sign out front, just a discreet brass plaque and a doorman who clearly knows exactly who's arriving before she even steps out of the car. Sofia gets out, smooths her dress, walks in like she's done it 100 times before. Tae-jun's car stops half a block down. He's out before Jin-woo can cut the engine. "Boss, you can't just walk in there. Watch me." He doesn't walk in. Some shred of restraint stops him at the alley beside the building, where a side window offers a narrow, rain-smade view into a private dining room. He presses himself against the brick, out of the streetlight, and watches. Sofia sits across from a man in his 50s, silver-templed, expensive coat, the kind of posture that comes from decades of sitting across tables from people who want him dead. He says something. She laughs, easy, warm, nothing like the guarded woman who barely tolerates small talk in his own kitchen. Therefore, something in Tae-jun's chest twists so hard it feels physical. Then the man reaches across the table and takes both her hands. Tae-jun's vision actually goes white at the edges. But wait, the man doesn't kiss her. Doesn't lean in the way a date would. He grips her hands the way a father grips a daughter's. Steady, grounding, like he's checking she's still real. Tae-jun can't hear the words through the glass, but he doesn't need to. He's spent his whole life reading rooms for a living. This isn't romance. This is relief. This is two people who thought they might never see each other again. He should walk away right there. He doesn't, because that's when the man stands, still holding one of her hands, and pulls her into a full embrace, the kind that lasts 3 seconds too long to be casual, the kind that makes the back of Tae-jun's neck bend with something he refuses to name. His hand is already on the alley door before his brain catches up with his body. He shoulders through the side door into a narrow hallway smelling of garlic and candle wax, past a startled server balancing a tray of wine glasses, straight toward the private room. His hand is already curling into a fist by the time he reaches the door. He doesn't get to open it, because through the frosted glass panel, he catches the tail end of a sentence, the older man's voice, low, urgent, cutting through the restaurant noise just enough. The extraction point's still active. "If they've traced you back to Seoul, agent, we need to move you again before." Tae-jun's hand freezes on the door handle. Agent. Not a pet name. Not a nickname a lover uses in a private room over wine. A title. A designation. The kind of word that belongs in briefing rooms, not restaurants. Inside, Sofia's voice answers. Quieter now. Tighter. "I'm not running again. Not after everything it cost me the first time." Sofia. No. Her voice hardens into something Tae-jun has never once heard from her. Not in the kitchen. Not in the hallway. Not in any of the small, guarded exchanges they've traded over 8 months. "I didn't survive Atlanta to spend the rest of my life hiding in someone else's kitchen. Tell me what you found." Tae-jun's hand stays frozen on that door handle. Atlanta. Extraction point. Agent. None of it fits the woman who feeds stray cats and remembers his housekeeper's birthday. None of it fits the story he's built in his head about a jealous ex-boyfriend or some rival syndicate's son trying to poach his help. Therefore, every assumption he walked in here with collapses in the space of 4 words. She's not on a date. She never was. He doesn't open the door. He can't. Not without giving away that he followed her. Not without revealing exactly how much this woman has gotten under whatever's left of his composure. He steps back into the shadow of the hallway instead, pulse hammering, mind racing through 8 months of small details that suddenly rearrange themselves into a completely different picture. The legal books. The vanished afternoons nobody questioned. The way she's never once flinched at anything he's said or done. Not even the things that make grown men in his organization go pale. She's not hiding from an ex. She's hiding from something far bigger than him. And now, because of tonight, because of his own jealousy dragging him 3 blocks through the rain to spy through a restaurant window, he's just stepped directly into whatever it is. Behind the frosted glass, the older man's voice drops even lower, barely audible now. "There's someone else asking questions about you. Someone connected to the Seoul syndicates." A pause. Long enough that Tae-jun's stomach drops straight through the floor. "Do they know who I'm working for?" Sofia asks. Tae-jun doesn't hear an answer, because that's the exact moment his phone buzzes violently in his pocket. Jin-woo's name flashing on the screen. 3 missed calls in the last 90 seconds, which never happens unless something has gone very, very wrong. He steps outside to answer it, and the single word Jin-woo says on the other end turns his blood to ice. "Boss, we have a problem. Someone just breached the east perimeter." Rain slaps against Tae-jun's face as he bursts back out into the alley, phone pressed hard to his ear. "Say that again," he says, voice low, lethal. "East perimeter," Jin-woo repeats, breathless, like he's already running. "Motion sensors triggered 4 minutes ago. 2 men scaled the wall near the garden gate. Security's converging now, but boss, they weren't after the safe. They went straight for her room. Sofia's room." Tae-jun's whole body goes cold in a way that has nothing to do with the rain soaking through his coat. Therefore, every second he spends standing in this alley is a second too long. He doesn't think. He moves, back through the side door, past the same startled server, straight for the private dining room, and this time he doesn't stop at the frosted glass. He shoves it open. Sofia and the older man both turn, and for half a second, Tae-jun watches something flicker across her face that he's never once seen there before. Faye. Not for herself. For what his presence might mean. "Someone's at the house," Tae-jun says, flat. No explanation for why he's here. No room in his voice for questions right now. "Your room." 2 men. Sofia is on her feet before he finishes the sentence, chair scraping back hard against the floor. The older man rises with her, one hand already reaching inside his coat towards something Tae-jun recognizes immediately. The practiced motion of a man who carries a weapon and knows exactly how fast he can draw it. "How many?" the man asks Tae-jun directly, ignoring the fact that they've never met, ignoring every social nicety that should exist in this moment. 2 confirmed. Could be more. "Then we're already behind." Sofia grabs her clutch off the table, and Tae-jun catches the flash of something metal inside it before she snaps it shut. Not a lipstick case, not a phone. Something with a grip. "You carry a gun to dinner," he says. "It isn't a question. I carry a gun everywhere," she answers, already moving past him toward the door. "You should have asked that 8 months ago." The drive back is silent except for the wiper slashing rain, and Jin-woo's voice occasionally crackling through the car speaker with updates. 2 intruders neutralized at the perimeter. A 3rd spotted near the service entrance. Security locked the east wing down, but Sofia's room. The door forced open, drawers emptied onto the floor, mattress sliced clean through. They weren't looking for jewelry. They were looking for something specific. Sofia stares out the rain-streaked window, jaw tight, hands folded so tightly in her lap that her knuckles have gone pale. The older man, Tae-jun still doesn't have a name for him, sits beside her, silent, watchful, one hand resting near his coat the entire ride. "You want to explain," Tae-jun says finally, "who you are, and why my house just got hit because of you." The man glances at Sofia. She gives the smallest nod, permission, or resignation. Tae-jun can't tell which. "Marcus Hale," the man says. "Federal prosecutor, U.S. Department of Justice, on loan to an international task force for the last 6 years." He says it like a man reciting a title he's tired of hiding behind. "Sofia isn't your maid, Mr. Kang. She's a forensic accountant who uncovered a laundering network worth $11 billion in Atlanta 4 years ago. A network that killed 3 of her colleagues and tried very hard to kill her." Tae-jun's hands tighten on the wheel. "And she ended up scrubbing my floors." "She ended up in Seoul," Marcus corrects, "because someone got her out before they could finish the job. Someone who owed her silence a debt he intended to pay in full." Something in Tae-jun's chest goes very still. "Who?" Sofia finally turns from the window, and when she speaks, her voice has none of its usual guarded calm. It's raw, tired, like she's been carrying this sentence for 8 months and is only now setting it down. "Your father." Therefore, the car goes utterly silent, save for the rain. Tae-jun's father has been dead for 3 years. Heart attack, the doctors said. Sudden, unexpected, the kind of death that leaves an empire scrambling for a successor overnight. Tae-jun buried him in a private ceremony, took the reins of an organization he never wanted, and never once questioned the timeline of how it all happened. "But wait, my father didn't have heart problems," Tae-jun says slowly, each word landing like a stone dropped into still water. "He ran 10 kilometers every morning until the day he died." Marcus and Sofia exchange a look Tae-jun can't read. "I think," Sofia says carefully, "there's a conversation we need to have that isn't safe to have in a moving car." Back at the estate, the East Wing is a chaos of flashlight beams and hushed, urgent voices. Security sweeps every room twice. Jinwoo meets them at the door, face pale, holding up a small black device between two gloved fingers. Found this in her wall vent, he says. Tracking beacon. Military grade. Whoever placed it knew exactly which room was hers. Sofia takes it from him without flinching, turns it over once in her fingers, studying it with the clinical detachment of someone who has seen far worse. This isn't syndicate work, she says quietly. Too clean. Too expensive. Then who? Tae-jun asks. She looks up at him, and for the first time since he's known her, there's no wall left standing behind her eyes. The same people who murdered your father, she says. And I think they just found out I'm still alive. They move to the study. Tae-jun, Sofia, Marcus, Jinwoo posted at the door with 2 additional guards flanking the hallway outside. Rain still hammers the windows, the same rain from the night before. The same rain that started this entire unraveling with 4 words spoken over a dinner tray. I have a date tonight. Marcus lays a thin folder on the desk, the kind with a red diagonal stripe across the cover that Tae-jun recognizes instantly as classified. The kind of document that doesn't exist in any normal filing system. 3 years ago, Marcus begins, your father contacted our task force directly. Off the books. He wanted out, not just for himself, but for the entire network he'd spent decades building. He'd found something in his own books that scared him enough to risk everything. What? Proof, Sofia says, that a coalition of syndicate leaders, Korean, Japanese, and 2 Western financiers operating through shell accounts, had been laundering money through humanitarian aid channels for over a decade. Money meant for disaster relief, war refugees, children. Her voice tightens on the last word. Your father found the trail. He was going to hand it over. Was going to. Someone found out, Marcus says quietly. 3 days before his scheduled meeting with us, he died of a sudden heart attack. Therefore, the room tilts slightly under Tae-jun's feet, though he doesn't move an inch. They killed him, he says. Not a question. A confirmation of something he now realizes is suspected, buried, and refused to look at for 3 years. We believe so, Marcus says. We couldn't prove it. Not without the files he compiled. Files that vanished the same night he died. Sofia meets Tae-jun's eyes directly now. Steady. Unflinching. The same way she's looked at him every single day for 8 months without him ever understanding why. He didn't destroy them, she says. He hid them. And in his final message to us, 3 hours before he died, he told us exactly where to find the one person capable of decoding them. Tae-jun's jaw tightens. You. Me, she confirms. Which is why he arranged for me to disappear into your house the moment my cover in Atlanta collapsed. 2 birds. 1 favor repaid. I'd be safe, and I'd be close enough to finish what he started, whenever I was ready. The silence that follows stretches long enough that the rain fills every inch of it. 8 months. Tae-jun finally says, low, almost to himself. You've been in my house for 8 months. Cooking my meals, feeding my guilt about my father's death every single day. And you never once thought to tell me. Would you have believed me? Sofia asks, no apology in it. Grieving son of a Mafia king, being told his father was murdered by people still operating inside his own organization. You'd have torn the house apart looking for someone to blame before I finished the sentence. Because she isn't wrong, and they both know it. Before Tae-jun can answer, Jinwoo's radio crackles from the hallway, his voice suddenly sharp with alarm. Boss, you need to see the East Gate cameras. Now. They crowd around the security monitor in the hallway, Jinwoo's finger hovering over the playback controls. The grainy feed shows the East Gate an hour earlier, a black SUV idling just beyond the estate's perimeter lights, engine running, headlights off. Enhance it, Tae-jun says. Already tried. Plates are covered. Jinwoo pauses the frame just as a figure steps out of the passenger side, face angled toward a security camera he clearly knows is there. But watch this. The man doesn't approach the gate. He simply stands, staring directly into the lens for 4 full seconds, then raises 2 fingers to his temple in a slow, deliberate salute. Sofia's breath catches audibly beside Tae-jun. You know him, Tae-jun says. I know that gesture, she says, voice gone thin. It's not a person. It's a signature. The coalition uses it to mark a location they've compromised, A way of telling their own people, we were here. We could have ended this. We chose not to. She swallows hard. It's a warning. They are telling me they know exactly where I am, and they are choosing when, not if. Therefore, the temperature in the room drops 10 degrees without anyone touching the thermostat. Why not just take you tonight? Marcus asks, thinking aloud. They had 2 men inside the perimeter. They could have. Because taking me isn't the goal, Sofia interrupts, already pacing now, arms crossed tight over her chest. The files are, and they know I haven't decoded them yet, or I'd already be dead and the world would already know what's in them. They are not hunting me. She stops, turns to face the room. They are hunting time. Mine. Upstairs, in the ruined wreckage of Sofia's room, Tae-jun stands amid slashed mattress foam and emptied drawers while she crouches by the baseboard near the window, running her fingers along a seam in the wood paneling that looks, to Tae-jun's eye, identical to every other seam in the room. They tore this place apart and missed it, she murmurs, mostly to herself. Missed what? She presses a specific point along the seam, and a narrow panel pops loose with a soft click, revealing a shallow cavity no wider than a showbox. Inside sits a small, weathered hard drive, wrapped in plastic, along with a folded photograph gone soft at the corners from handling. She doesn't unwrap the drive. She unfolds the photograph first, and something in her face cracks open in a way Tae-jun has never seen. Not guarded, not calculating, just raw. He looks over her shoulder before he can stop himself. The photograph shows his father, younger, standing beside a woman Tae-jun doesn't recognize, both of them laughing at something outside the frame, sunlight bright behind them. Who's that with him? My mother, Sofia says quietly. They knew each other, before either of us were born into any of this. Because that's the piece Tae-jun never saw coming. Your mother knew my father. They worked together, decades ago, before he ever became what he became. Before your father's own father dragged him into the syndicate business. She traces the edge of the photo with one finger. My mother tried to get out of that world too. She didn't make it. Died when I was 6. Officially, a car accident. Unofficially, she lets the sentence die, folding the photograph carefully back along its worn creases. The same people, Tae-jun finishes for her. The same people, she confirms. Which means this isn't just about your father's murder, or the files, or the money. This has been going for 2 generations. Your father spent 30 years trying to make right what he couldn't fix for my mother. And when he finally found his chance to actually do something about it, they killed him too. Sofia nods once. Sharp, final. Therefore, everything Tae-jun believed about his father's legacy, the empire he inherited, the reputation he's spent 3 years defending, the guilt he's carried since the funeral, rearranges itself completely in the space of one photograph and one hard drive. His father wasn't just a crime boss who happened to die of natural causes. He was a man trying, quietly, imperfectly, and far too late, to bane the whole rotten structure down from the inside. And he chose Tae-jun's own house to hide the woman capable of finishing it. Marcus appears in the doorway, phone pressed to his ear, his expression tight enough that Sofia straightens immediately. That was my handler, he says, lowering the phone. The coalition just moved up their timeline. We have intel they're mobilizing 3 separate cells, Seoul, Busan, and 1 crossing in from Japan by morning. Mobilizing for what? Tae-jun asks. For her. Marcus nods at Sofia. And for you, now, Mr. Kang. The second they confirmed you followed her tonight, you stopped being collateral damage. You became a target. Sofia's jaw tightens. Then we move up to. Tonight. I've finished decoding what's on this drive before they get anywhere near it. You need specialized hardware for that, Marcus says. Equipment we don't have on hand. I have equipment, Tae-jun says. Both of them turn to look at him. My father kept a private server room beneath this house, he says slowly, like he's only now understanding why. Encrypted, isolated, off every network. I always assumed it was for financial records, money laundering software, offshore accounts, the usual. He looks at the drive in Sofia's hand. Maybe it was for this. Because that's the moment the chess pieces his father left behind finally start clicking into place. Not just an inheritance of power, but an inheritance of unfinished war. Now, if you're still with us, this is exactly the moment to hit that subscribe button. Because everything you thought you knew about a jealous mafia boss chasing his maid's love life is about to turn into something far bigger and far darker than either of them expected. The server room sits 3 floors beneath the estate, accessible through a false panel in the wine cellar that even Jinwoo didn't know existed. Tae-jun keys in a code he memorized years ago without ever knowing what it opened, and the panel slides back with a pneumatic hiss, revealing a narrow staircase descending into cold, humming darkness. Rows of servers blink quietly in the dark, untouched, waiting. Sofia moves through the space like she already half expected it, connecting the drive to a terminal with practiced, efficient hands while Marcus watches the door and Tae-jun watches her. How long? Tae-jun asks. Depends how many layers of encryption your father used. She types rapidly, lines of code scrolling past faster than Tae-jun can follow. He was smart. He knew whoever came looking wouldn't just be after the files. They'd be after the person who could read them. The screen flickers. A progress bar crawls forward, agonizingly slow. If this works, Tae-jun says quietly, watching her profile lit blue by the monitor glow, you expose everyone, every syndicate, every deity official, including people who could reach into this house whenever they want. I know. Including me. My organization runs on half the same infrastructure they are protecting. Sofia finally looks at him, and there's no softness in her expression, only unflinching honesty. The same honesty that's kept her alive for 3 years while running from people who wanted her buried. Then you have a choice to make. Tae-jun, burn with them. Her eyes don't waver. Or help me burn it down first. The progress bar hits 60%. Somewhere above them, faint but unmistakable, a car engine cuts out at the edge of the estate's driveway. Headlights off, just like the SUV at the East Gate an hour before. Jinwoo's voice crackles through the radio clipped to Tae-jun's belt. Low end agent. Boss, car just killed its engine at the tree line. No plates visible. 2 heat signatures, maybe 3. Tae-jun's hand goes instinctively to the pistol holstered beneath his jacket. Lock down the server room. Nobody gets through that panel without my say-so. On it. Sofia doesn't look up from the terminal, fingers still moving across the keyboard, the progress bar creeping past 63%. How much time can you buy me? However much you need. That's not an answer. It's the only one I've got. He's already moving toward the stairs, Marcus falling into step beside him, drawing a compact pistol from inside his coat with the fluid ease of a man who's done this more than a few times for a federal prosecutor. You're really going up there, Marcus says. Not a question. More like he's testing whether the mafia boss he just met 3 hours ago is actually going to bleed for a woman he's known 8 months. She's decoding the thing that got my father killed, Tae-jun says, checking the chamber of his weapon. In my house. Under my protection. That math isn't complicated. Therefore, for the first time since he inherited an empire he never wanted, Tae-jun finds himself running toward a fight for a reason that has nothing to do with territory, money, or reputation. The rain has thickened into a hard, relentless sheet by the time Tae-jun reaches the garden, and the darkness beyond the tree line swallows everything past 30 feet. He signals 2 guards toward the west flank without a word. Old habits, old language, silent hand gestures forged over a decade of exactly this kind of night. But wait, the first shot doesn't come from the tree line. It comes from the roofline of the guest house behind them, a suppressed crack that sends one of his guards down hard into the wet grass before anyone even registers the muzzle flash. Sniper! Jinwoo shouts, dragging Tae-jun behind the stone fountain as bark explodes off the tree beside them. Marcus returns fire toward the guest house roof with controlled, precise shots, years of federal training evident in every movement. They're not here for a smash and grab, he shouts over the rain. This is a coordinated extraction team. Military trained. How many? Feels like 6, minimum. Here's where it gets crazy. Because 6 trained operatives against a household security detail built for intimidation, not siege warfare, is not a fight Tae-jun's men are equipped to win quietly. Another shot. Another guard down, clutching his shoulder, screaming into the mud. Tae-jun grabs the radio. Jinwoo, get everyone off the perimeter and pull them back to the house. We're not holding ground, we're funneling them. Funneling them where? Into a kill box I actually control. Below, in the humming blue light of the server room, Sofia hears the gunfire through 3 floors of concrete and doesn't stop typing. Her hands shake, once, and she forces them still by sheer will, the way she's trained herself to do since Atlanta, since the night 3 of her colleagues didn't make it out of a parking garage alive. The progress bar hits 71%. Her jaw is clenched so tight it aches, her knee bouncing under the desk, every gunshot above making her flinch despite years of discipline built specifically to prevent that exact reaction. "Come on," she mutters. "Come on." A new window pops open on the screen. Not the decryption interface, an intrusion alert, red text flashing across black. Unauthorized access attempt, external node. Someone, somewhere, is trying to breach the server remotely, in real time, while she's still inside it. Therefore, whoever planned this attack didn't just send 6 operatives to storm the house. They sent a second team to hack the exact system she's using. The moment they confirmed she was inside it, they knew the house had a server room before Tae-jun did. Upstairs, the funnel works exactly as Tae-jun intended. 3 attackers pushed back from the tree line, forced through the narrow garden path between the hedges, directly into the crossfire of 2 guards positioned on the east balcony. 2 men go down. A third scrambles for cover behind an overturned patio table, and Tae-jun puts a round through the wooden inch from his head just to watch him freeze. "Drop it," Tae-jun says, stepping out from behind the fountain, rain streaming down his face, weapon steady despite everything. Or the next one doesn't miss. The man drops his rifle, raises his hands, and then, in a motion too fast for the guards to stop, bites down hard on something tucked inside his cheek. He's dead before he hits the ground, foam already at his lips. "Cyanide capsule," Marcus says grimly, jogging up beside Tae-jun, breathing hard. These aren't hired guns. These are true believers, or people too scared of the handlers to risk capture. Because that single detail tells Tae-jun more about the coalition than any file ever could. An organization willing to arm its own soldiers with suicide pills isn't protecting money. It's protecting something, or someone, powerful enough to be worth dying rather than exposing. Jinwoo's voice cracks through the radio again, tighter now, almost panicked. "Boss, 3 more vehicles just turned off the main road. ETA 4 minutes. Reinforcements," Tae-jun mutters. "For them or for us?" "Doesn't matter." Tae-jun is already moving back toward the house, weapon still raised, rain plastering his hair flat against his forehead. "We don't have 4 minutes to figure out which." Back in the server room, the intrusion alert intensifies, red warnings stacking on top of each other faster than Sofia can dismiss them. Her decryption progress bar climbs to 84%, painfully close, agonizingly slow. Then the screen flickers, goes black, comes back with a single line of text that has nothing to do with the decryption software. Text she didn't type. Text appearing in real time from whoever just breached the system from somewhere outside this house. "We know where you are, Agent Williams. We've always known." A pause. Then, beneath it, a second line, colder than the first. "Ask Kang Tae-jun what happened to his father's real cause of death. Ask him whose signature is on the coroner's report." Sofia's blood turns to ice. Because that report, the one she's read a dozen times in Marcus's classified files, the one that lists heart failure in clean, clinical language, carries a physician's signature she recognizes. A signature she's seen before, on a payroll ledger buried 3 folders deep inside Tae-jun's own organization. The coalition didn't just kill Tae-jun's father. They did it from inside his house, using someone he still trusts today. The message on the screen doesn't dissipate. It sits there, glowing, patient, like whoever sent it knows exactly how long Sofia will stare at it before she moves. A signature she's seen before. Her hands hover over the keyboard, decryption still running in the background, 86% now, and she forces herself to breathe, to think, to separate the panic from the work the way she's trained herself to do for 3 years. Therefore, she pulls up the payroll ledger Marcus's team extracted from Tae-jun's financial records months ago, a routine background file, nothing she'd flagged as urgent until this exact second, and cross-references the signature against the coroner's report still open in a second window. They match. Dr. Hyun-woo Baek, personal physician to the Kang family for 11 years, the man who signed Tae-jun's father's death certificate, the man who, according to the ledger, has been receiving quarterly payments from an offshore account linked directly to the coalition since before Tae-jun's father ever died. Because the doctor didn't just certify a false cause of death, he created it. Footsteps pound down the server room stairs before she can process it further. and she spins, hand instinctively going for the pistol in her clutch, only relaxing when Tae-jun and Marcus burst through the panel, both soaked, both breathing hard, both very much alive. We held the perimeter, Tae-jun says, but 3 more vehicles are inbound. We need to move you now. Tae-jun. Sofia's voice stops him cold, something in her tone making his hand freeze on the door frame. There's something you need to see before we go anywhere. She turns the monitor toward him, watches his face as he reads the message, watches the exact moment his expression shifts from confusion to disbelief to something colder, harder, more dangerous than anything she's seen from him yet. Dr. Beck, Tae-jun says quietly, has treated me since I was 12 years old. He was at my father's funeral. He cried at my father's funeral. He also signed off on a cause of death that doesn't match a man who ran 10 kilometers every morning, Sofia says, gentler now, because she can see exactly what this is costing him, and has been paid for it, regularly, for 3 years. But wait, Marcus's phone buzzes violently in his pocket, and whatever's on the screen drains the color from his face in an instant. What? Tae-jun says. My handler just pulled satellite confirmation on those 3 inbound vehicles. Marcus turns the phone around. One of them belongs to Dr. Beck's private medical transport service. The room goes silent except for the hum of the servers and the distant, muffled sound of rain against concrete 3 floors above. Therefore, the man who's been treating Tae-jun's blood pressure and prescribing his sleeping pills for the last 3 years isn't rushing to the estate to help in a crisis. He's coming to finish a job he started 3 years ago. Except this time, the target isn't just Sofia. It's the son of the man he already killed. Sofia's decryption bar hits 98%, then 99%, the cursor blinking on the edge of revealing everything, the coalition's full network, every Daity official, every laundered dollar, every name connected to the deaths of her mother, her colleagues, and Tae-jun's father. Almost there, she breathes. Then the intrusion alert flashes one final time, and the remote connection that's been probing the system for the last 10 minutes suddenly succeeds, not in stealing the files, but in something far worse. A countdown appears across the screen. Bright red. Merciless. System wipe initiated. 4 minutes and 59 seconds. They can't steal it, Sofia says, voice rising with something close to panic for the first time all night. So they are going to destroy it instead. Everything. The files, the proof, the only thing that could expose them. Can you stop it? Tae-jun asks. Not from here. Not in 4 minutes. She's already moving, yanking the drive free from the terminal, cradling it like it's the only thing keeping her alive. Because in a very real sense, it is. I need an isolated system. Somewhere completely offline. There's a car in the garage my father kept, Tae-jun says suddenly. Off-grid. No network access at all. He used it for exactly this kind of thing. Because even in death, his father is still one step ahead, still leaving doors open for exactly this moment. They move as one, Sofia clutching the drive, Marcus covering the rear with his weapon raised, Tae-jun leading them up through the wine cellar and into the garage, where headlights are already sweeping across the driveway outside, 3 vehicles pulling to a stop in perfect, practiced formation. The lead car's door opens. Dr. Beck steps out into the rain, calm, composed, an umbrella already open above his head like he's simply arriving for a routine house call. Tae-jun, he says warmly, like nothing at all is wrong, like there isn't a countdown ticking towards 03 floors below them. I heard there was trouble. I came as soon as I could. Here's where it gets crazy, because Tae-jun realizes, with a cold, sinking certainty, that the man smiling at him from beneath that umbrella has absolutely no idea they already know. Which means, for exactly this moment, Tae-jun has the only advantage left on the table. He smiles back. You always do, Tae-jun says, stepping forward into the rain, hand extended like he's about to shake the hand of the man who murdered his father. Come inside. There's something I want you to see. Behind him, hidden from Beck's line of sight, Sofia's fingers tighten around the drive, the countdown behind her eyes ticking down in perfect sync with the 1-3 floors beneath their feet. 90 seconds. And neither Tae-jun nor Sofia yet know which will run out first, the coalition's attempt to erase the truth forever, or the doctor's realization that the son of the man he killed is no longer the grieving, unsuspecting heir he buried 3 years ago. If you want to see what happens next, whether the files survive, whether Dr. Beck walks into that trap or out of it alive, and how deep this coalition really reaches into Tae-jun's own empire. Comment part 2 below, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss it.